Good morning. Welcome to the News Hub on WSJ Live. I'm Clemency Burton-Hill. Well, he said that he alone held the keys to his redemption, but there's nothing like drafting in Miss Oprah Winfrey when you need a helping hand on that front. Shamed former cyclist Lance Armstrong taped an interview with Oprah Winfrey yesterday, and despite the reservations of his legal team, he's expected to have admitted using performance-enhancing drugs. But how he got to the point of reaching out to Oprah, as well as to the US anti-doping agency, is a tale almost Shakespearean in its dimensions of human pride, folly and treachery. Vanessa O'Connell and Reed Albergotti, the Wall Street Journal reporters who've been covering that complex story since the very beginning. They have a major exclusive in the Wall Street Journal today, and I'm thrilled that they can join me here in the studio now. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Hi,
right on the front page this morning. Now, I know that in a text message to the Journal last week about the impending interview with Oprah, Lance Armstrong wrote, "I hope she hits me hard." What on earth triggered him to step up and finally want to come clean?
Well, I think part of what was motivating him to send that text message also is that America needs him to show some kind of remorse. He's trying to say, I hope she hits me hard. America needs him to essentially fess up. So I think he's trying to now make it seem like he is ready to be forgiven. He needs to be forgiven. But there is a really interesting backstory to how he got to this point.
You guys have the backstory in some naughty detail in today's exclusive. Tell us more, Reed. Like, how did he get to this point?
Yeah, I mean, what the story is really about is there are two Lance Armstrongs here. There's the public image Lance Armstrong, and that's what you're going to see on Oprah on Thursday, and I can't wait to watch it. But there's also the behind-the-scenes, real, genuine Lance Armstrong, and that's what we really dug hard to uncover with this story. Now, he met with Travis Tigert, who's the head of the anti-doping agency that stripped his titles. And in that meeting, Armstrong wasn't contrite. He wasn't saying, you know, I'm so sorry, I admit to everything. He said, I'm getting totally railroaded here. You guys are targeting me, you're going after me. I'm just another cyclist. I didn't do anything differently than anyone else is doing. And, you know, I think that's very different than what you're going to see on Oprah on Thursday.
I know that the USADA, though, are calling this the most sophisticated doping program on the planet. I mean, this goes far beyond the doping in a way. This is 15 years of denials, of threats, of actions against anyone who told the truth. Is his public image in any way redeemable at this point?
What do you think, Vanessa? I mean,
well, I think it's going to depend on on how the Oprah interview goes. He does still have some people who really believe in him because of his work for cancer and because he is a big personality in this country. However, I'm not sure the average American is really knows the details of this doping conspiracy, knows the history. You know, there is a 15-year-long history that USADA was aware of when it brought its case. And so Lance, I think when he met with USADA, with Travis Tigert, really didn't feel that he should be held accountable as kind of the mastermind of this doping conspiracy, and was trying to argue he's just another athlete, just like the other 12 cyclists who spoke to USADA. He didn't really seem to agree with their characterization of him as one of the ringleaders, essentially, of the conspiracy.
Now, your story takes us all over the place, from Denver to Hawaii. Tell us what was going on in all these different places and how he was going all over the globe, particularly in Hawaii. What was the significance of that vacation that he took?
He has a place in Kona, which is, you know, as we said in the story, the spiritual home of triathlon. It's where the world championships of the Ironman triathlon are held. So he likes to train there, ride his bike. It's kind of off the grid. It's on the big island of Hawaii. He actually met with Oprah Winfrey there and discussed this interview. I mean, that's how...
Because she'd interviewed him before and been quite sympathetic, is that right?
Yes, she's had on Lance and Cheryl Crow, you know, with the yellow bracelets. And right.
She had him on during this federal criminal investigation and didn't ask a single question about it. You know, let him just sort of be Lance Armstrong.
So they had that conversation, and then what was the next step?
Well, I think he thought about it and talked to his legal team and ruminated. I mean, he's read Steve Jobs' biography and thought about, you know, what is my legacy? What's my image to the world that I want to portray? So it's really interesting. And my question is, on the Oprah show, we know he addressed the doping questions in the interview. Did he address all the other stuff, the attacks on his accusers, you know, trying to ruin people's careers, pressuring people into doing drugs on the team and letting them go if they didn't? I mean, what do you think?
That's the thing that I think people won't be able to forgive him for. And I mean, you do want to say, what does he want out of this, apart from the rehabilitation of his public image? Is there a financial incentive here? Because presumably he wants to compete in these triathlons in the future and sees that as his big source of income, potentially down the line.
Yes, and actually Oprah, of course, cannot make that happen for him. That would have to come from the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency. So it's unlikely he's going to be competing for any time in the near future, unless there's some twist that happens in the next couple of days whereby he brings forth information that is really valuable to USADA in cleaning up the sport, perhaps that he might then be able to return to triathlons a little at some point. Right now he's facing a lifetime ban.
Reid, let's talk real quick about his lawyers, because they were not happy with this. Their advice was to not go in and have a sit-down conversation with USADA and admit, well, we don't know what he's admitted to, but what are the legal implications?
Lance is facing all kinds of legal problems. I mean, not only did he have a federal criminal investigation, which was shut down, but you know, there are ways that that could sort of start up again. He's also facing a federal whistleblower lawsuit filed by Floyd Landis, his former teammate. He's facing a lawsuit, a pending lawsuit from an insurance company that initially refused to pay the bonuses to him for winning the Tour de France back in 2004. That got litigated. Armstrong lied in the arbitration, said he had never used performance-enhancing drugs. That's going back to court. There's all kinds of things that he opens himself up to. He's actually negotiating with the Department of Justice right now on how to settle the whistleblower lawsuit.
A lot resting on that Oprah Winfrey interview in that case. It airs on Thursday, is that right, on the Discovery?
That's right, on her network and Discovery. It's a
big,
and
huge
Discovery
exclusive for them.
Yeah,
huge deal.
And Discovery Channel is his former sponsor. He wore the Discovery Channel logo in his final Tour de France on his jersey.
As we say, a tale Shakespearean in its dimensions. Thank you so much, Wall Street Journal reporters Vanessa O'Connell and Reid Albergotti. And that exclusive story is on the front page of today's Wall Street Journal. There's also more on the Lance Armstrong story on WSJ.com.